Hello, Barbara.
Hi.
Hello, good morning. Ooh, new place.
Yeah, I moved last Wednesday and yeah, it's a new home.
Beautiful.
How are you?
I am. I'm good. Today. No, over the weekend, I started to move a little bit more again into the seeds world, and it's interesting. I'm still like in between of like excited about it, and at the same time like, oh, just wait a little bit more with what is there. But yeah, I'm very good. I'm very good. Just had a what's the word? Let's call him a carpenter. He just came to ask for some stuff here. So it was a little bit. What's the right word? Words today again. Not like anxious or something, but like a little bit. Okay, but then I gotta go inside and go on a call and like, yeah, but just need this and this and that, and like there was that, yeah, that kind of space. I don't know how to call it.
Is the word that you were looking for disturbing, or like you were in a certain space and that space was disturbed?
Yes, but not quite. Not quite. I mean, it is kind of disturbing, but not really that I was disturbed. More, there was the fear or knowing the possibility of that things might conflict, and just knowing that it might happen. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, let's see if we can make it possible. So sort of that, yeah.
I understand. Yeah. And you've been in this space of introspection for some time now, right?
Yeah. I mean, generally for a very long time, for a very, very long time. But yeah, intensively for, 3 weeks. And then now this 1 week was already more outside of that retreat space. But I still kept myself more in it, more there. And it's a tricky game, I feel, to play, because it's kind of that image of a hermit on a mountain can be very in peace with himself or herself, but once coming down from the mountain into the village again, then suddenly stuff can come up, and I really enjoy that. I really like that, these both sides. But now it feels a little different, like more of bringing the mountain into the village kind of feeling of that sort of having that, and that's very interesting and cool, but also something I've never done in that form, that as I can see it, and so it's also an experiment, probably. Yeah. I don't know if that makes much sense.
No, it does. I can totally relate to everything that you're saying, because I think I can say the same. There's always been a strong aspect of introspection in my life since I was a child. I was the child who would be in a corner observing the room
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
and struggling to find my place, you know, and then trying to mingle and just always returning to that space that was detached somehow, but at the same time together, you know, together in my way of being in the space. But I've always needed that introspection. It always came naturally to me. It's always been a part of who I am, the way I communicate with the world and myself. So I would say that I am an outgoing introvert. Hi, Apostle.
Hey,
Hello.
Apostle.
Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, everyone is here now. Hi, Alicia. Hello.
Hello, hello.
I don't identify myself as everyone, but we are all one. So thank you.
Apostle, come on. But you're right. You're right.
Apostle, aka everyone.
Apostle, you know, there's already like that all sound in it. Apostle.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
true.
All of them.
Yeah.
By the way, Alicia, how do we speak your name actually correctly? Because that, like, last time you said once, like, thank you for saying my name right now. I was like, I'm still not sure how it actually is.
So my name is pronounced Alicia,
Good.
like Alice, but with IA. Yeah. Rather than, you know, people say Alicia, all sorts of different pronunciations.
Yeah.
Or some people call me Alice as well.
Oh, good. Thank you for. I will now. I think I'm sure. Now I'm sure that I
Good.
won't doubt it again.
Hello, dolphins as well.
I can't make dolphin sounds. What do they do? Well, Apostle, sorry. What do you want to say?
I have no idea what I want to say.
Perfect. I love it.
I'm here just for maybe half an hour because I'm going to my therapist after that. So
We're going with you.
Yes, as usual.
no, not this time.
Oh.
Oh.
I'll let you guys have fun without me.
So I was in here that we're gonna inner space regeneration.
Yes, indeed. Just thought more people would come, actually, because they told me. But, but who knows? Maybe it's too early or too late. Anyhow, well, we will start as usual with the sound of the singing bowl and a moment of stillness. Yeah, a moment of stillness, that's enough probably. Oh, maybe, oh yes, not required, but I think for regeneration, it would be nice to put our attention on our breathing, actually. Yeah, so let's do that. Have a minute of breathing with awareness. So feeling how the breath flows in, how it is inside the body and how it flows out. Thank you very much. Wake up, Apostle, wake up.
Wake up.
Okay, so let's jump right in.
How
yeah,
to
you
wake
already
up in...
know what. Hmm?
Sorry, go on.
Okay, Apostle.
I was gonna say a joke about waking up, but
no,
sorry.
no jokes here. We are here for serious big business stuff. Not for that. You can do that in your therapy session, okay? So, yeah, regeneration, what a lovely topic. And I would say we just shoot. Whatever comes to mind, but is not from the mind, can be spoken. But Apostle, since you have to leave the earliest, would you mind sharing first? Oh, and by the way, if, sorry, I just have to say that quickly. If any one of you, although we're not that many, feels like taking notes, being kind of like a scribey thingy, then feel free, but there is no compulsion to that because we have the recording anyway. So yeah, now Apostle, sorry.
Just a second. So I love to look at the etymology of words actually. So regeneration, according to Google, from etymological standpoint, means the action or process of regenerating or being regenerated, the formation of new animal or plant tissue. There is actually the term is actually used in electronic and chemistry. In electronic means positive feedback. In chemistry, it means the action or process of regenerating polymer fibers. And it comes from Latin, I'll try to speak Latin now. Regenerare, which translates to create again, regenerare and regeneratio. Regeneratio, I guess. I've barely spoken Latin in my life. But yeah, from Latin, create again. Um, and regenerate comes from genius, which is around creation. It has something to do with creation and procreation. Yeah. I can go probably on a couple of different vectors, but let's start with mental health, for example. What does regeneration mean in mental health terms? So, every person has like it's kind of mental health / personal development, because they're kind of like a little bit intertwined. At least for me, maybe not for everybody. But yeah, there is a regeneration that is happening with people who start to wake up a little bit, like something happens and they start to start waking up in a sense, and then there is this journey in which you start processing your, best way to say it, generational trauma or ancestral trauma, and depending on how deep you go, how deep in the rabbit hole you go, it can take either a long time or a very long time to do that. But there is like a service that you are doing for the coming generations, in a sense, and to everyone around you, because you start to become more present, more attentive, more responsive, more responsible, even more yeah, it's like you're fractured and you're becoming more whole and more whole, like you're healing the fractures, and that's how it feels. And yeah, and what I'm talking about is probably on the cutting edge of consciousness. That's a phrase that one of my friends uses. He organizes these psychedelic integration circles, and he says that everyone who attends the psychedelic integration circles are on the cutting edge of consciousness on the planet. By the fact that they're being there and doing this. most of the people are very far from even beginning to do this work. But yeah, because I'm looking out my window and there are a lot of like houses and buildings there, and yeah, I'm in a country that has barely any meditation teachers present in the whole country, and yeah, but there's a lot of shamanism going on. I don't know why I'm going into this direction. So regeneration, yeah, becoming regenerating the tissues and the fractures of your mind and body and spirit. Yeah, I think I'm complete for now. So if someone wants to take it on from here.
Hello. I'm taking notes, just so you know. I love that you started with the etymology. I'm an etymology kind of person as well. I love looking at where words come from. I love words. I collect words. So I really appreciate that. And I have to say that I love how Google sometimes defines things in circles. What's regeneration? It's the act of regenerating. And then we have something beautiful, right? I loved that you found positive feedback, new formation, and from the Latin to create again. And then what really surprised me was genius, because then it feels like an invitation to explore the etymology of genius, you know. Thank you, Apostle. And then creation, procreation. And then when I think of creation and procreation, and before that, last night I was thinking about certain things that relate to what we're discussing now. And the words that came to mind were abundance and manifestation. Thinking of regeneration as a creative power, as a power of nature. I think of its creative and regenerative powers, right? So to use another word for regenerative, I would say that nature has this magical ability to remake itself, to start over, to from any given point. It can be nothing and it can be everything. It's constantly creating more and regulating itself at the same time, which is really magical. And that happens from a place of abundance, which from the, tapping into the space of abundance and then being able to regenerate creates manifestation, and that leads us to the creative power of nature. And so what I've been exploring lately is the understanding of abundance, trying to see that it's beyond what we have been taught by the system, that abundance is something that comes in the form of paper that I use to exchange value with people, and that the means to get to that paper are limited and scarce, and I have to compete for it. In that space, it's not possible to create regeneration, because it's only from the understanding of the limitlessness. I don't know why I'm struggling with this word lately. Of what abundance really is, that we can then become conscious regenerators. It's by understanding that abundance is a shared realm of infinite possibilities. Yeah, a shared realm of infinite possibilities, and embodying that understanding, that I can then become a regenerator of anything and everything in me and around me. So that becomes a space where, instead of absorbing the energy from the outside, which is a degenerative dynamic that we experience in the system, we then start imprinting our energy where we go. The energy of this unlimited abundance and creative power. And from there, everything we touch, including ourselves, our surroundings, our relationships, people we talk to and share our hearts with, becomes regenerated. And then through that vehicle, manifestation takes place. And then we tap into the creative power of nature. So that has been my exploration in terms of what regeneration is. It's both to start from nothing and to start from everything at the same time. But it's mainly an inner space of understanding, of a quality of our embodied presence, which is abundance. And it comes from the moment we are born, even before, because it's pure consciousness, it's part of pure consciousness. But in this embodied presence, it comes at the moment when we're born. And what entering this system does to that is that it removes it from us. It removes the memory of it, the understanding of it, the embodiment of it. And that's what we call prison, right? And so if I were to compare our existence in this system, this degenerative system, to our embodiment of this birthright understanding of abundance, the degenerative embodiment would be like concrete and tiles and, sanitized and lifeless. Nothing can grow there. We're just replicating something that is extractive of our purpose and our abundance powers. And then on the other side, this space of embodiment of abundance and regeneration is fertile land with infinite possibilities. It's diversity, it's self-regulated, and it grows infinitely. And so this is why I believe that human regeneration is a prerequisite for planetary regeneration, because if we're made of cement and tiles, we cannot grow anything. If our soil is contaminated by these ancestral wounds that you mentioned, Apostle, if we're not waking up to that embodiment that is sacred, that we're born with, and we do not process our ancestral trauma, as you said, in service of new generations and our present surrounding coexisting people, then, and if we don't, as you said, regenerate the fissures and the fractures of our mind, body, and spirit, then we can't imprint regenerative energy where we go. We're going to continue to absorb what comes from the outside.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love what you're sharing. I love that you spoke about mental health. And I'm also curious about genius, the etymology of genius. So when we started and we were in a minute of quietness, it was really raining on my roof. And it was quite noisy, and I kept thinking, water. Yeah. Water, just a major regenerative element. Dog. And the next thing that I thought is the water basically goes into the soil, and the soil is an amazing technology of regeneration. And it's such a complex technology. It's like, wow. I mean, the more I learn about it, and you mentioned nature, Barbara. I think Apostle also mentioned something, and it is funny because I have a patio in my backyard. It's just a small patio, and since I moved there, when I moved there was nothing, and everything started growing between the cracks between the slabs, and it was in the first year it was covered, despite still being a patio. And in every street there is plants growing between the cement, and nature finds its way all the time. And the reason why I'm thinking soil is because it's this cycle of things dying that are food for worms and critters, which transform it into food for bacteria, and bacteria transform it into food for plants. So there is like a multiple actors in regeneration, and all of them are essential. It's like, wow, I mean, we don't see it, but it's millions of them. It doesn't matter what job you're doing in that cycle is like essential. I'm not sure why I thought about this, but at the same time I was thinking about this, I was thinking about our ecosystem and how there is so many different actors and they're all essential. Even the ones that leave the thing to compost, you know, the ones that bring dead stuff that we need to process. Some critters will eat it, and then it will become food for bacteria, which would generate an amazing nourishment for that can be used for all these sprouting plants and trees. And that happens continuously. We don't see the technology under the soil. We don't see it. It's just so incredible. So I was thinking that. I was thinking rebirth, restart, renaissance. Regenerative renaissance is like a rebirth. Restart, rebirth. Yeah. I'm going to stop there because I'm starting to go a bit loopy. So my brain wants to take over. I won't let it.
There is a story by Paul Stamets. I heard it. Do you know who Paul Stamets is? Oh man, there is a movie called Fantastic Fungi. You should definitely watch that movie. Yeah, he's the main person on the movie. He's like the most famous mushroom man in the world. He had a story where they were testing different types ways to deal with oil spills in the ocean, and they used on one they used some chemicals, on the other I don't know, on the third one they used some type of mycelium that eats oil, and they waited for like 2 months to see what will happen in the 3 different places. And the first 2 were kind of like I don't know what their status was, but they were kind of like a little bit transformed. But the third one, where the mushrooms were, they were super baffled to find that there were plants growing there, because the mycelium started eating the oil, and then it became a lot of mycelium, and then birds came to eat the mycelium. And so the birds pooped, but there were seeds in their poop, and the seeds germinated the mycelium and started to grow. So it became a whole like small ecosystem in a way. Yeah, it was very inspiring, and something in Alicia's sharing reminded me of that story. That's a story of regeneration. Taking something toxic that would otherwise harm everything that it touches and transforming it into something that is food and nourishment for plants and animals. Yeah.
Apostle, have you in the meantime already like looked up what genius is in etymology?
Yeah, I want to specify that was not a genius as a very smart man, but genius as a, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Or woman.
Like genus, like I think it's used in biology to signify a category of animals, like or plants, or I don't know. So it's not like genius, but it's more like genus, and genus goes into generare and generate and generate and regenerate after that.
Apostle, you found it right next to the Latin of the word, right?
Yeah, to the
Yes.
Latin of generare. Generare is the more closer word, which is create, but generare comes from genus, basically. Yeah. This is, I'll share. Can I share my screen? I can share my screen.
Yeah.
So this
I can't see it.
This is the regenerate etymology.
Yeah.
Re again, generate, create. So create again. Regenerare, regeneratus, created again. That's in past tense probably. Regenerate is in and this is this word generare comes from genus or gener, which apparently is something like stock or race or type, some kind of type, probably something like this. But yeah. That is more precise.
I'd like to keep that confusion for us anyway. Rather than genie idea.
Yeah, genius. Okay, guys, I have to go now. Thank you. Have an amazing time.
Thank you. Enjoy your time as well.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
If it's possible to have an amazing time with a therapist,
I mean, we have to see. We just have to surrender to the infinite realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds, yeah, that's what Barbara was also saying. Okay, then it's me. Yeah, it's just way too big of a thing. Where can I start? I also like etymology, and I also like words and what they mean. But I also feel like we give too much attention sometimes to words and not so much to what they are representing. And this I also feel in the sense of regeneration and how we use it in seeds. And often I feel like we should just create a new word to say something specific, because a lot of stuff gets mingled, and for example, for me, important aspects of regeneration, we do not really, we don't have it, I think, aware as being there. And what it might entail for others. So that's why I'm a little hesitant. I'm a little hesitant because it's so vast, this space. If I really dive into that. So I just pick up stuff that I heard and build on top of it, which could also be considered a form of regeneration. Although I personally would define it more as generating, because it's just the creation of something, and all creation is built on something else. And that's just how it is. So the start is generation and generating. And to regenerate means just, if we really go to the etymology of it, to do it again, to do what we already created, to create that again. And then, like in today's meaning, if it comes to plant life and what's that called? Like tissue? Yeah, that was the word, tissue. Then it means that it heals and more or less brings back the state back that it was in before it got damaged or hurt. And I think that's what we are mainly looking at in seeds when we talk about regenerating, that we heal the wounds that have been created by us. And there I also see the inner regeneration, inner wounds that Apostle talked about, as the most essential, because it's all just it's our creation. It's what we created, and it's not like an outer thing, an outer thing that just came to us and now we have to deal with it. It's something that we created, and that's why we have sort of also that inner sense of responsibility for regenerating. And from this aspect, I very much feel how we in seeds take that sense of regenerating on. But I also see for me that this is that this can be a kind of inner trap as well, where we come into that circle of generating and regenerating and regenerating and regenerating and regenerating and regenerating. And that is that thing of continual creation, where when I look, especially on the inside, there is a space where this does not happen. That is before we generate. And it's also etymology, probably, I don't know, that I assume, but there's the genesis of all, and Genesis, generate, could be connected, who knows? But the coming into being, and everything that's created is a coming into being. And this coming into being is something beautiful, amazing, infinite in its possibilities, as Barbara said, and therefore abundant in its nature. And it's also chaos, because, I mean, arguably the definition of chaos could be, I say the realm of infinite possibilities, just like that thing that just, everything is possible, but it's very hard to bring order in the mental space to it, so that I know what's going to happen. Because if I have order, then I know this comes, this, but that doesn't work that way in that space. And also in the Genesis, oh man, how I go wild. But anyway, in the Genesis, it's kind of that thing of creating order and the balance between the chaos, the infinite possibility, and the thing that discerns that and kind of creates a stability within that. And so if regeneration means to continuously aim for that, then that wouldn't be something I'm here for. That's not what I'm here for. That is something that just happens. That is a natural unfolding of the nature of abundance, of beingness, of creation. And I'm just here for that which is before all of this happens, from which life springs. And and to by just being there, I nurture everything else in it. And so that for me, I could consider the greatest regeneration of just if I'm there, if that's what I'm embodying, then this is regenerative for me. But I don't see that embodied in seeds as such. I personally just see that the definition of regeneration is relatively surface level. For me, I would describe it like that. So it's the plants that we see on top, but maybe not even see the soil and what's underneath there. And because it feels like regeneration in some sense seems to exclude a lot of stuff that for me has to be included, because it's a whole process. And that's why I personally just have an thing about regeneration and the Renaissance, because it holds this kind of, that for me, strong potential of living in a concept rather than in an embodiment of it. But I very much like what you said, Barbara, about degenerative and regenerative nature of things, that regeneration feels like, or you didn't say that, but inwardly you said, oh no, not inwardly. You said that degeneration feels lifeless, so that means regeneration probably feels alive. And this is something I can be like, yes, that I could say that's always true. But how that expresses itself in the world, I would already be like, oof, okay, if it's not anchored in my heart, what aliveness really is, then I might miss it, although it's happening. And so when I see something only as alive if it moves while I can perceive it moving, then it already excludes a lot of stuff, like stones and mountains. They are not alive because they never move. No, that's not what I think. I mean, that's what I could think if I see that. But we hopefully know that this is not true. There is ice that hasn't moved for ages. Now it's slowly moving, sadly, but hasn't moved for ages. But it's alive. It's part of it all. So if I talk about regeneration, then everything is already doing that. Every moment, every breath we take is regeneration. And therefore it would just be, life unfolding for me. But since that's not always the case in the perception of everyone, I have sort of that feeling to call everything that we do not do, but aim for to be regenerative without even knowing what regeneration means in that context. You know, how is our shared definition of regeneration? Because then, yeah, if you know, this, what I said now, probably not well defined, but kind of is what my definition is of regeneration. Would be life unfolding, and that includes for me everything. But if that's not the same for, you know, you, whoever that you is, then we're not talking about the same thing. And since that is not clear, and that's why words are important, and I do love them. But if that's not clear, then it's lucky for me, because then it doesn't change anything. Because for me, it's still life unfolding, and it's good enough. But the other side usually is a bit I say like whatever it is, like puzzled or disappointed or stuff, emotions that we have seen in Discord a lot. Oh my God, that's not so much stuff that I'm saying, but anyway, I'm just gonna go. Of, yeah, like, you know, people have different opinions, different ideas of how things should be done, and what is right and what is wrong, and what is good for the goal of regeneration, and the need for unity. Nadim is not here, but the need for unity and what that means, and that can feel like it's not regenerative. That can feel like it's more a destructive thing, because like we were one, we have one community, for example, let's just think, and now we might be splitting, or something is happening, or someone is left outside, and all of these feelings. But for me, it always seems like that is just generating something. And it's just the creation process unfolding. But it might not be seen, because we focus so much on a specific idea on what regeneration means, what that is. Yeah, I think that's enough. Yeah.
I'm gonna move locations because my charger is downstairs and my computer is down. Thank you, Max. That was so rich. So much to explore. I also loved what you said about water, Alicia, and how you said that it's like the technology of regeneration. I totally share that fascination. I feel like it would be interesting for us to tap into what Max has brought up in terms of our understanding, our shared understanding of regeneration in the seeds ecosystem. I am especially interested in exploring what you said about maybe a lack of coherence in regards to how we see and embody regeneration, and how that might be detrimental to generating in the ecosystem collectively, especially when we talk about decentralized governance and a space that is, as at least I see it as such, a space that is constantly co-created from a place of purpose. Oh, hello, hello.
Hi, Justin.
Hi, Max. Hi, Barbara.
Hello.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Regenerative Nature. Just dropping in. Does that feel okay? I'm here?
Yeah.
Cool. We're just checking.
Yeah. Yeah, because if we're in a space driven by purpose, then a collective purpose, then there needs to be alignment in terms of the understanding of that purpose. We will certainly have diversity in terms of in terms of individual purposes playing their own role and magic and bringing their own gifts to the collective purpose. But I agree that there must be an overarching guiding purpose, which is agreed on and shared and embodied collectively and individually in its diversity, if that makes sense. Just like really biomimicry, right? Like regeneration in nature would be this overarching language that all beings that are part of nature speak, but they each embody that language in their own unique way. So that's how we have biodiversity, right? So how can we create conscious biodiversity in seeds from this place of shared understanding of regeneration? That's a conversation that I would love to have next in this series of investigating what regeneration is. And I think it would be great to invite the greater community to take part in this discussion. Maybe we can arrive somewhere where we share a conscious understanding of what regeneration is for the community.
Barbara, can I invite you to what the last bit, the beginning of your sharing just now, where you said, just to bring Justin up to speed, what you said about Max and what he brought in his sharing.
Oh, you want me to go back?
Yeah, just go
to
back to explain where we are.
Yes, so today we're discussing regeneration, and we each shared our views of what regeneration is. And then I was drinking from Alicia's sharing in terms of water as a technology of regeneration. And then lastly, I went back to a discussion that Max started in terms of our understanding of regeneration in the seeds ecosystem. He was saying that he feels, please correct me if I'm not paraphrasing as I should, he feels that regeneration is at a surface level in seeds, that we only look at the plants on the surface, and that he feels the need to look into what's underneath, what's in the soil, so that we can understand what is our, well, we can be more aligned. And he brought up the notion of a shared definition of regeneration in that space in seeds. And so that's where I'm coming from when I say what I just said.
Kimono, yes. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I can say a little bit more, and then a bit more clear even. So thank you for the invitation again to look at that. A few words of clarification on my side is that I mean I very much agree with all the general ideas about having a shared purpose and all. What I find more tricky there is that even if we define a meaning of regeneration, what it is, what it means, and because we have that in our purpose as seeds. I mean, the Constitution is a very beautifully written paper, but it's almost like a poem where it just allows a lot of space of personal interpretation. And that's the same with just regeneration, because what I consider to be regenerative might not be what you consider to be regenerative. And that is something that we can probably not like erase by defining and defining and defining and getting more precise in what is and what is not. There is also something I have a problem with the SDG idea, and yeah, evaluating what is regenerative or sustainable or all of that, because there is a certain element of just chaos in there that needs to be there also, and that is fine. And I don't see that aspect to be very well recognized in the movement within seeds. I mean, it's happening and we all see it all the time, but it's almost like we are trying to find a way out of it. And that is also again like that intuitive motion that we have, where when we encounter something that we do not know, that we try to become familiar with it. So identifying it, naming it, or anything like that. Where I'm like not at all against that, but that's just how things seem to unfold in the same way in seeds, and that is not really captured in the meaning not the meaning, the expressed regeneration that we aim for, that we live, that how we express ourselves and how we view things. It's not really, embodied. So that's what I was trying to get at. I don't know if I made it more clear, but anyway. Yeah.
Can I piggyback? Popping up. What came up as I was listening. Well, Max was, and also and Barbara is like the definition or the collective understanding being really important, maybe for like the benchmark to know if we're closer or further in the sense of like a collective understanding. And then what I kind of heard also was like the embodiment of regenerative principle or practice or that embodied kind of transformation that's almost required it requires a different set of conditions. And if I was to think about the system itself, it's like one of the biggest challenges I notice in our system and just probably across the world is that bridging of the global, social, digital kind of governance experience, and then like the hyper local, grounded, embodied practices that it takes to transform yourself so that you can transform your relationship at a collective level. And it comes across in every which way. I notice like it can come across in how people approach. I mean, you can just really notice it. Like, can I really have a regenerative future if I'm not willing to move from wealth to prosperity? Kind of vibe. Like if that's it could be a real block or challenge. Can I really be a regenerative leader if I'm still in an extractive consuming habit around the energy of others when I really haven't learned how to support the flow of the individual in a collective context. This is not really clear what I was saying, but there's a real kind of just developmental challenges there too. And I wanted to bring maybe one last bit was that I was listening to a talk about feng shui. I was just in one in a way, and it's talking about the four aspects of kind of life. So you have heaven, you have earth, you have humankind, and then you have like the chaos. It's all kind of chaotic sometimes, but you have this 30% that is like heaven, which is like, let's say, the astrological destiny or the astrological kind of imprint that you have that's kind of set in some ways, not permanently, not fixed forever, or definitely, but pretty set. You have the human, which is like the habits and the behaviors, which is just takes time to modify and to shift and change. By 30 days or whatever the patterns are that you need, 90 days of change. And then you have the earth, which is like the environment that you find yourself in. And these things they're all interrelated. It's not you can just change one, but the feng shui is the setting of your house, as an example, or where you live is probably the most easiest to set, but it's still deeply impacted by the nature of your humanness and the nature of your destiny. And that's not even counting the 10% of the just probability of whatever is going to go on between. So, but I think about that in the sense of regeneration in a way. Like when we think about how we work with regeneration in our system, we have to recognize that some people's destinies may be literally, they may be here because this is what they're destined to do, but the destiny they have may not be the same trajectory as the regenerative movement as a whole. They could be the counterweight or the example that says like this, what this is not just what it will be. And then you have the habits and the humanness that says like, how much are you willing to be regenerative? Are you willing to die and be reborn almost constantly? Are you willing to lose what you thought was you to have it grow back in a more strong or sturdy way? These kind of aspects of regeneration and that biomimicry sense. And then just kind of the earth, which is like, and then what are our organizing bodies? What are the shapes? How are our rooms set up? our space is set up, and how those align with kind of the principles that support heaven and earth, and human coming together, even in the face of chaos. And I say, like, the idea that we have like a decentralized, autonomous, we have a decentralized human organization, but the decentralization as a principle and as a founding aspect of our bodies is kind of something that, like regeneration worries me, because decentralization is not always, it's not like an end goal in itself. It's not always what you want. You don't always, it's not always, I don't know how to say that, but that may not always be the highest quality for a group of humans organizing or even be practical. And so that kind of standard of could be one that may not be, it's feng shui, may be off. That's just that's what I think. So I got there. That's a great picture, Barbara. The colors are like, it's like very lively in the dog, and I don't know, it's a vibe.
Could be in a picture frame thing, when you buy a picture, like a frame for a picture, and then there's already a thing inside. Look at that man. God. Takes my breath away. Sorry, but it's true. It's true, man. Oh, beautiful. Drop of life.
So you gave it a title where you were speaking, Max. So it's called The Balance Between Chaos and Infinite Possibilities, which is what you said. I can't hear you.
That's Max's nickname. He's the balance between chaos and infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
That's what we call him.
Cool, that's what you call him. The longest nickname in the world. Yes. It's true, though. It's true. Yeah. Thank you, Justin. Though it's beautiful. Yeah. Barbara, you invited us to explore that whole thing of regeneration, because we only have like 7 minutes left. Ooh, Daya. Hi, Daya.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. I just could hop on because I just got off. So I thought I would just try and say hello. And we're laughing. Oh, good.
Yes, always. Yeah, we had a beautiful exploration around regeneration. And I just wanted to ask Barbara if she would have some words of things that might be still open for exploration there for you, because you invited us to look into that together. And it doesn't mean that just because the time is running out now that it's like done and finished. Because maybe there is something that we can take tangibly from it, that we can actually bring into the system that is then again regenerative in itself. So yeah, but maybe you have picked up something there.
Thank you, Max. I'm thinking of, other than the discussion about the shared understanding in our community, I think that could be useful. But within our space, I feel that it would be very regenerative to maybe allow this introductory discussion on regeneration to unfold into how to move from a degenerative mind to a regenerative heart. That's a question I have written in a few places, and I've been exploring for some time, and it's part of one of my personal projects to explore this. And well, I would love to know more about Samara. I know very little, but yeah, these questions are questions I enjoy diving into on a daily basis. And so I would love to share that, Alicia, to share that space. I mean, yeah, like explore some of these questions in this group. I would love that. This idea of degeneration as opposed to regeneration, and a mind-centered existence, which is what we're taught to do the minute we start being shaped by different structures of the system. And this move back to heart consciousness, which in my view is it's at the center of the regenerative movement. It's a reclamation of heart consciousness. And then moving from, these, the true centers of intelligence in the body, the heart and the gut, and then aligning them with the mind, but in a way that is holacratic, I would say, like, because it's the hierarchy of the mind, what we live, right? So how can we align these three powerful tools and go back to where sacred intelligence and wisdom live? I think that that's at the heart of human regeneration. So yeah, that discussion would be really interesting to share. Thank you.
Beautiful. I really love how you can speak. And yeah, what did Justin say?
I'm just saying, plug.
Nice. Equinox, a special time of the year. Yeah, let's hope we all have time there as well, Barbara. And I love it. So next time, let's already look at the degenerative behaviors within us. Not behaviors is maybe the wrong word, but the inside degenerative tendencies that we have. That would be amazing. So yeah, let's have the last minute to say goodbye. Everyone can just say something.
Oh, my word is soil.
Alicia, what was the first word you said? My what?
My word is soil for checkout.
I was writing a hashtag, which I probably shouldn't have wrote, but it was inner space in every space. So that was my just don't really.
Justin's full on promotion here.
Sorry, I don't know what's happening right now.
Hashtagging,
What's
plugging
going on?
stuff in, nicknaming. Woo. I love it. I don't have a word.
Well, I'll jump in with hearing what was just the minute part of the whole conversation. It just was like, you know what? Why couldn't we invite or send out an invitation from inner space to everyone who is in outer and storytelling to join that conversation with us at some point in the near future.
So a direct, specific invitation.
Yeah, just to, to the normal Monday call time, but just to put it out as
Yeah, but like it is put out publicly.
it
for
is,
everyone
but
in theory to see, but they don't
yeah.
show up. So directly, I can.
Calling it something a little different, like round tables. Round table seems to be, the the buzzword this week.
Sneaky, I see.
Yeah. I don't know. It just popped right in, so I thought, well, I better say it. Okay.
Yeah. I just was thinking like, how can I do that? But let's see. Maybe if you have an idea and to plug it in, for example.
If I do, I will.
Justin, I don't know. Then we do that. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Nice to see you, Barbara. Nice to see you, Alicia. Max.
Enjoy the week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, man, this guy.
Thank you, Samara.
Shut up,
Come on. You have to own it, though. You have to own it.
No,
Oh my God, you're seeing Justin.
So beautiful.